welcome to another Bob's Odd Jobs. Today I am building a railing for my deck. My whole goal here is to have, just keep something on the kids on the deck a little better. I'm going to be building it with a Pylex sliding gate kit. The directions aren't the best for this kit, as most reviews said, but that's fine. The most important thing, and I'll use this as an example, is I want to make sure the gate matches the railing exactly. So when it's opening and closing, the top of the gate matches the railing. So I've done a lot of measuring here just for a test, and I've come to the conclusion that this wheel is 4 inches from the bottom of the wood once it's put all together. So that means that the gap in my railing, for the bottom of my railing, when I build it over here for my gate, is going to be 4 inches along the bottom of my entire railing, and that way the gate will kind of run smoothly and kind of transition with the railing without too much of a difference in heights. And I think that was the hardest part, so we'll see. Let me get some of the railing together, and I'm using just the railing kits from Home Depot. They're not too expensive, and I think they're going to look nice here. The black bars and a pre-drilled. Okay, let's see what comes next. All right, so I've notched my 4x4 pieces just because I want them to sit right on top of this. This railing doesn't have to have a load bearing, but the notching just gives me a little more space from these trees. And I've just done some measuring, sort of a loose idea of where I want to put my railings, or sorry, my posts, so that I'll have my railing in between each post. Okay, on to the next. So I've got my 4 posts up. They're pretty level. I'm pretty sure when I add the banisters, they'll level out a little better. I didn't really like how I put these in. Home Depot, we got this COVID thing going on, and curbside pickup. Home Depot sent me the wrong bolts. They gave me these massive ones. I was hoping to countersink them, but I don't have a drill bit deep enough or big enough to countersink these. So I'm just gonna sort of finagle it when we get it together. But it seems okay. They're pretty strong. They're on there pretty good. Happy with that so far. And now I'm just measuring off my pre-drilled the banisters to put on onto the deck. Okay. And for some reason it started snowing like crazy. I can't believe this, but I'm still working. I just thought I'd add a word for the wise. If you're going to cut these pre-drilled banisters, you want to make sure you cut them evenly on both sides, because you don't want to have a different space from your holes to the end on each side, because then it's going to look really funny. So I've measured both sides to make sure I'm going to have an even space between my holes on each side. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm just working on getting my posts. I've got my bottom rail in, and once I put my bottom rail in, the top one, which was measured the same, doesn't fit. So I've come up with this little trick. It's just I think the wood might be a little warped. I have a little trick using the tie, or the roof tie, which is the ratchet strap, and I'm able to pull these together. So now I've got the perfect length for these. You might be worried that the screws will pull out, but once I've got all of my top rails on, this is all going to be one solid unit, so I'll be able to remove the strap. So just a little trick that might work for you. Alright, so I've got most of the railing done. What I'm finishing doing now is I'm notching just the leftover pieces down at the bottom here. I'm just notching them, and I'm using a poor man's method because I don't have the right tools. I'm just drilling a hole that's big enough for my sawzall to cut, and then I can cut this. It's not as good as a jigsaw, but it is going to be able to do one notch. I have one notch done over there, two notches actually over there, and I'll get this one done, and we're on to the gate coming up soon. Okay, so I've put this one together separately, like from the other ones, and I'm just putting on the kit now. There's 4 corners to put on, and it says make sure it's very square. So what I've done to make sure everything's nice and tight, I used my trusty ratchet strap, and made it so that this side is tight. And now I'm moving on to this side of the gate, and hopefully everything is square. I mean, these things seem pretty good. The wood is a little warped, but we'll see how it goes when it's all done. Okay. Alright, so I'm here working on the Pylex sliding gate for the banister, and something that I didn't know is when they want the gate to move, they want it attached to the actual banister itself with this little clip. You can see it has 2 little nubs that hold it, and it slides along here. So this is something to keep in mind, because I was going to put an end cap on top of my entire banister, but I'm going to have to put spacers now on both ends. So I'll keep moving here and see what else I can find doing this gate. Alrighty, so this is the finished railing, and this is that sliding gate. As you can see, it slides open and closed. Just a couple things about the gate is it uses these guides. One of them is attached to the gate, but one of them attaches to the deck, and you can see the guide actually slides along the actual banister of the deck. So I had to actually raise the handrail further than I wanted to. So I have a gap here, but I just did it along the whole deck so it stays in line with the gate. And the gate stays pretty even with the deck. It looks pretty good. And it has a similar guide at the bottom too. Again, you can see here it slides, it's attached to the gate, and it slides on the actual banister of the deck. So the entire banister itself is a little taller than I would have wanted it, but everything looks pretty even and uniform. There's one last thing I'd like to mention about this gate. It comes with a latching kit here. I didn't like how it latched. For me, I wanted a little bit of space. I didn't want it actually hitting the pole. I wanted space here. I didn't want it hitting the pole. So the latch wasn't going to reach. So I'm going to just get a different type of style latch for this. As long as it's flat enough to fit in the gap here, I should be okay. But just something to note. A lot of people say the screws rust. I haven't seen anything about rusting screws yet, but I just put this up yesterday.